What's going on? How you doing? How you doing? Let me let everybody load up a little bit before I talk about this great topic. As you guys know, I'm a life coach. I always like to really call myself a wealth coach, because a wealth practitioner, because I'm always going to tell you guys the reality of investing, the reality of my mistakes, the reality of what it takes to grow. This morning, I decided to talk about something that's really interesting for you guys. For a lot of you that want to get into real estate, a lot of you that's trying to figure out what's your next play, a lot of you that's trying to figure out how do I catch up, or what is people doing in regards to making money, because maybe life is rough for you. Maybe you have good credit, but you don't know what's your next step. You know, what are wealthy people doing at this moment? And what are they going to keep doing, especially as interest rates keep going up? The economy is very expensive. We're hearing a crash is coming very soon in the next couple months. There's a lot of people betting against the market at this moment. For the last couple weeks, as you guys know, the stock market has been down. The real estate market, based on where you're at, is not the best. But again, homes are still selling because there's a big shortage of homes. One of the things I thought I'd share, again, I'm always going to give you guys true value, true game, true knowledge to really understand what is happening in this present day world. As you guys know, I'm always in the real estate market. I'm always in the stock market. Actually, I'm trading right now. I just bought more shares of AMD. As you guys know, I'm always going to tell you what I'm doing. And again, it's up to you to listen to what I'm saying, apply it, or some of you decide to. It's up to you not to listen. But for some of you, you're trying to figure out what's next. You have good credit, probably got good savings. You're trying to figure out how are wealthy people still making money. What is their next play? Today in this video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the biggest play you could possibly make starting from now for the next 5 years. That could make you anywhere from $100,000 to $300,000, sometimes even $250,000 on one play, one transaction. What is it that you can do where you can make $100,000 to $250,000 on one transaction? We're going to talk about that in this video. First and foremost, as you guys know, it's going to relate to, of course, real estate. As you guys been seeing, you're starting to see a lot of companies starting to develop apartments all over the place. And you're asking yourself, why? A lot of us may not have this answer, and it's true because, again, companies like Lennar, which is the biggest developers in the world, and many others are developing apartments all across the country. And you're asking yourself, what's happening? Why is this happening? But you got to pay attention. You're also starting to see a lot more people are developing properties now. They're building from the ground up. They're building houses from the ground up. People, you got to start to understand this is your next play. One of the things I'm always going to tell you guys is if you're not where you need to be, you need to pay attention. This video right here is straight knowledge, because a lot of you don't realize that you're years, some of you are a decade or 2 decades behind. Right now, if you're trying to make $100,000 to $250,000 on one transaction, you need to start learning how to develop a home from the ground up. Now, I want you to understand, one of the videos I did, you could always go on YouTube and find that video in regards to the importance of steps to buying land. How do you buy land? What's things you should understand on buying land? Now I'm going to add on to that in this video, because by theory at this point, you bought a piece of land, or in the future, you plan on buying some land. You got to understand what to do with it. And one of the things we're going to talk about and focus on this live is, what do you do with the piece of land when you buy it? Hypothetically, as you guys know, buying land is something that a lot of investors do and developers do. They buy land. You buy land in tertiary markets. For a lot of you that understand, again, South Florida right now, based on if you're in the Broward County, Tri-County area, which is, of course, West Palm, Miami-Dade, and Broward, is not the most beneficial place and financially beneficial place to buy land. So a lot of people are starting to buy land in different areas. Even if it's in Florida, they're not buying in Broward County, West Palm Beach, or Miami-Dade. They're buying more in Jacksonville. They're buying more in Palm Bay. They're buying more in Cape Coral. They're buying more in different cities, okay? Fort Pierce. And I'm going to tell you why, because land is way cheaper, okay? Now, for a lot of you that may not understand how land works, I'm going to give you a basic understanding. There's 2 different types of land. There's commercial, which is you could build buildings. You could build, of course, industrial warehouses. And, of course, there's residential. Residential meaning you could put a house on it. You could put a townhouse, which of course has HOA and needs to be governed. Or you could put, again, condos, which is not something you guys will really get into. So we're going to look at this picture as commercial and, of course, residential. As you guys know, some of us may not have the funds to build commercial, which is apartment buildings. It's very pricey. And, of course, you need to have the right people financially behind you to build. And I want to tell you how rough it is right now in the world of lending. Some of the biggest investors in the world who are getting loans directly from JP Morgan Chase. Long time ago, imagine what we call your LTV, meaning you would only have to put, by theory, 70% down and they'll give you 30, or sometimes you put 30% down and they'll give you the 70. Things have changed. It's how rough it is. They're now giving those big developers saying that, no. We're only giving you 45%. You're going to put 55%. So that tells you a lot from going from a position where all they had to do was put 30%. Now they got to put 55% down. That tells you a lot about the economy. In this video, we're going to talk about the importance of understanding not only buying and investing land, but understanding why you should develop on land. If you're trying to make in 1 year, in one transaction, maybe in 6 months or less, $100,000 to $250,000 on one transaction, that could change your life. This is the first time you're going to hear somebody tell you this, people. Not only do you need to buy a piece of land, you need to start understanding how to develop on land. One of the most problematic things I see with a lot of our community is we sometimes do buy land. We listen to realtors who don't know shit about land and buy the wrong types of land. That's one. Two is we buy land, which is very common. We leave no life insurance. So if we passed away early, we didn't leave no money for the child or whoever you left it for to build on that land. In this video, this is all hypothetical for some of you. And for some of you, this is all reality based on you understanding the importance of saving and investing and understanding you will need a lender to fund you in order to do what I'm about to say in this video. If you're trying to make $100,000 to $250,000 on one deal, you need to start buying land. And not only that, part two is you need to start learning the process of developing on that land. I'm going to give you guys a scenario. Yesterday, while I'm on Jacksonville Tax Deed Auction, right, I bought some land. And I want you guys to understand, I didn't buy this specific land, but I know why this person paid this much money for it. I want you to pay attention. They bought a piece of land for $50,000. It's a quarter acre, meaning, think of it like this. Okay, there's 4 quarters in a dollar. Roughly, residential is usually about 0.23, 0.27, 0.29, okay? So roughly it takes 4 quarters to make a dollar. So it takes 4 quarter acres to make 1 acre. Usually you need a quarter acre to build one house. Now, the closer it is to maybe, instead of 0.25, 0.23, let's say it's 0.29 or 0.31. The closer it is to that number, the more you can build maybe a triplex or a duplex. So this person paid for a 0.23 piece of land, which is like, think of it, a quarter acre of land, $50,000. For some of you would say, man, that's a lot of money to pay for something that has nothing on it. Slow down, slow your horses. Next door to the land they just bought, and the door after, there is homes that's already built that's at an average price of minimum $500,000 to $650,000. So think about this. You bought a piece of land for $50,000. Your neighbor house is worth $650,000. The neighbor behind them is probably worth, next to him is worth $550,000. That meaning their home is already developed. Your land is worth, you just bought it, $50,000. Pay attention. Now you got some homework. I bought a piece of residential land for $50,000. The question is, what is it going to cost me to build a house similar to the house next door on my land? What about if you could build, I'm just giving you numbers so you can see how this really works. What about if you could find a GC? Because one thing you're going to need to understand, if you don't have the license, you need to understand what a general contractor is. And you may need to have a friend who is a general contractor. A general contractor, think of them as a manager. They're going to pretty much broker their whole job for you to build the home from the ground up. Because you don't have the license and you don't have the understanding of what it takes to build a house from dirt all the way up to a full home where somebody can move in their whole family. It's very important you find a GC that you can trust. Because that person is going to be the main ingredient for you developing this home from the ground up. So now we go back to the scenario. Bobby, by theory, buys a piece of land, which is a 1/4 acre, 0.23. Okay? Remember, Bobby said it takes 4 quarters to make an acre. So if you have 4 1/4 acres, that's 1 acre. Okay? So at the end of the day, this person just bought a 1/4, meaning they just bought a piece of land, 0.23, to build. That's enough to build a house. But next door to them, the house is worth $650,000. Next door to that person, it's worth maybe $550,000. So you bought a piece of land for $50,000. To build, you spoke to a GC. They tell you to build the house similar to the one next door. It would cost you $250,000. We're going to use that in this example. But this is really how it goes. You bought the land for $50,000. It's going to cost you $250,000 to build it. Your total all-in investment is what? $300,000. Now, the home is worth the ARV, that's the correct term, after repair value or retail value, is $650,000, meaning that's what it's worth after you finish building it. So you built it for a total cost of what? $300,000, including the price you paid for the land. You can sell it for $650,000. Now pay attention. $650,000 minus $300,000, which is your all-in investment, is $350,000 profit. I know a lot of you are asking a lot of questions right now, and if you have any questions, feel free. Well, Bobby, I got a question. First of all, where do I buy land? Question number 2 probably is, well, Bobby, I don't have $250,000. How would I get the money to build on the land, even if I bought the land? I'm going to give you guys a lot of different scenarios on how to deal with that. But I first wanted to at least bring the picture to front light so you can at least understand what I'm trying to tell you guys. And the reason I'm doing this live, which is a live that a lot of you have never heard or been in before, is because I'm trying to catch a lot of you up with what's happening right now. While a lot of you are working for these jobs, $15, $20, $25, $30 an hour, fighting for crumbs, okay? You may feel offended. It is what you're fighting for crumbs. You could be in a position, if you understand the value I'm giving you, where your whole life could change if you built one house for the year. All you have to do is listen to what I'm saying. You build one house for the year on a piece of land you bought. This could change your life. See, a lot of you, when a person is giving you game, you would rather go listen to gossip sites. You would rather go change the station and listen to stuff that's not going to empower you or elevate you to the next level. And this is why a lot of you are at these jobs chasing $10, $20, $30 an hour. Because you still don't understand how far behind you are, and that's what I'm trying to teach you in this video. If you want to learn how to work smarter, this is what people like myself and others, this is what we're up to right now. Because we like to work smart, not hard. Right now, the game is learning how to develop. In this example, by theory, you bought a piece of land for $50,000. It's not just your average piece of land. You bought a residential piece of land. What's unique about the situation, your next door neighbor house is already built. It's worth $650. You went on Zillow, typed in their address. It's worth $650. You're right next to them. So your land, after you develop, if you develop a similar home, will be worth, after it's developed, $650 also. You bought it for $50,000. But to build a house similar to that neighbor, you need $250,000. You don't have it. So option number one, I want you guys to understand, make sure you're taking notes on this video, because this is going to be probably the most powerful video I give you guys throughout the year. This is exactly what's my next play. And you got to understand, as the markets shift, you got to shift. You guys heard me say a couple months ago, I was in the process of looking for an apartment building. But with rates being so high and me having money just sitting in my account doing nothing, my mind had to shift and say, hold on. What's another way I can make $100,000 to $200,000 in one transaction? And I'm telling you right now what it is and what I'm doing. You guys need to find that uncle, that auntie, that's in real estate, that's been fixing up homes, that probably know developers, or that probably is a developer. That's probably a GC. You've been having this person in your corner for a long time. Some of you don't like to get dirty. There is no dirtiness in this video. It's learning how to leverage the right people, controlling the situation, and making a whole bunch of money. So you bought your piece of land for $50,000. You could have bought your piece of land for $20,000. You could have bought your piece of land for $10,000 based on where you bought it. Tennessee, South Carolina, Florida. I don't know where you guys stay at, but wherever the hell you bought your piece of land, you bought a residential piece of land. The problem is you need money to develop on it. This is why I said early in the video, for a lot of you that's growing up in this world, if you want to hear a mature answer to life, please stop dying people and leaving your kids a $100,000 life insurance policy. This is baloney, okay? Because a lot of you don't understand the value. To build a home nowadays, based on, especially if you're in Florida, you're going to need roughly $150,000 to $250,000 to build a home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So if you left your kids 2 pieces of land, you need to have put them in a position where you left an extra $500,000 so they could build on the land you left them. That does not include the money you should have left them to also pay off your house. That does not include the money you should have left them so if somebody has to take care of them for 10 years. That does not include any other dollars for them to buy their first home. So in the world that we live today, while we're tapping in life insurance for a quick second, all of you should have minimum, if you're educated and you understand what I'm trying to tell you, a minimum of $1 million policy. If you have less than $1 million policy in 2023, you do not understand what you're doing. And mathematically, I can prove that to you. But we'll continue the story. So you bought a piece of land for $50,000. You need $250,000 to build on that land because you want your house similar to the neighbor's house next door, which is worth $650,000. You need to start understanding what is a construction loan. That's option number one. You need a construction loan. See, in this world we live, the problem is lenders only coach you or project different statements as FHA and conventional. That's all they talk about. They never talk about a construction loan. For some reason, TV, social media, any lender you know, only talks about FHA and conventional loans. They never talk about a construction loan. And you know that one of the most powerful loans right now, if you're developing, especially for a lot of developers, is construction loans. A construction loan is exactly as it states. It's a loan that's leveraged while you build your house based on the stages that they will fund you as you're building. And then eventually you could switch over and get regular financing, which is of course maybe FHA or conventional once you're done with the property. But a lot of times you won't need that because you already found the buyer, you sold it already. So in reality is you got a piece of land you bought. Wherever you bought it. I know you didn't buy it in Broward, Miami, and West Palm. Because land is so expensive, you need to go further north. You didn't buy in those areas, that's for sure. Because I'm on these auctions all day. A piece of land, if you could find in Broward, you might pay $1 million. But now if you go to Cape Coral, Jacksonville, Palm Bay, Port St. Lucie, now you got a chance of buying the land for maybe $20,000, $15,000, $30,000, $35,000. So you got your piece of land. You started researching lenders. You found a lender that's willing to leverage you, what we call a construction loan, so you could build a house similar to the neighbor's house next door. Now you need a GC, general contractor. Because without the GC and their ability to pull permits and walk you through the stages of how to build a piece of land you bought that had a whole bunch of trees, you got rid of the trees, got a survey, you got it all cleaned up. What's next? When you got a piece of land, it's not just a piece of land and you just build. It doesn't work like that. Land has stages. And those stages to understand. You got to be able to put yourself in a position of understanding what's your next move. Land also has elevation levels. 1 second, I don't know what this. All right, sorry about that. I guess somebody decided to call me. Land has elevation levels. So imagine you got a piece of land. You got your construction loan. Stage 3, you need a what? A GC. Because you need somebody to guide you to build from the ground up. Stage 1, you need a survey. You need to understand if this is your land, how much of it is your land? What about if there's an empty land next to it also? How much of that land is yours? How much of that land is somebody else's? That's what a survey does. It tells you what's your boundary lines, how much of this is yours. Then you need to clean that lot. And before you clean it, you need somebody to build you what we call a plan. How will this house be built? And that could run you anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500. But a GC that's professional will educate you on all these steps that's needed to build this house that you're about to make $200,000 to $300,000 on. What a lot of you fail to realize, it's not like you need a lot of money. You need to have structure and you need the right team in order to do this. And in one transaction, you will make $100,000 to $300,000, even if it took you 1 year to build a house. Remember, by theory, you bought it for $50,000, the piece of land. You was on the high side, you built at $250,000. You're at $300,000 total. The house is worth $650,000, the ARV. That means you made $350,000 profit. Now the question is, how much of you have been researching and understanding the importance of buying land? September Tiller, sorry about that. I got a call that came in on the, I think that's Facebook and YouTube side. I forgot to put my notifications on off so my calls don't come in. What I was stating earlier, stage 1 is you buy the land. Stage 2, you need a construction loan. You need to start contacting lenders and getting you a construction loan. Stage 3, you need a general contractor. You need somebody that can help you build and walk you through building a house on your land. Because in this example, remember, you bought a land that's next door to a house that's worth $650,000. Your land, you bought it for $50,000. But the house next door to you, there's a house that's fully developed that people live in. It's worth $650,000. All you did was take the address, Zillowed it. Simple. You bought your land for $50,000. You realize after talking to a GC, it's going to cost you $250,000 to build on this land. The question is, where do you get the $250,000? You need a construction loan. The problem is with this world today, like I said earlier, lenders don't talk about construction loans. All they talk to you about is FHA and conventional. In this case, those two loans will not help you at this moment. The most valuable loan at this moment will be a construction loan. And a construction loan is simply a loan that as you're building your home in certain stages, they will be compensating you until the house is fully built. But what a lot of you don't realize is, and then when the house is fully built, you can switch over your loan and get what we call a regular FHA or conventional, which is what some of you are used to. But what a lot of you don't realize is, in an area where there's already developed homes and you got a piece of land right in the heart of it, once the house is built, there's already a buyer. You already sold the house, 40% of it being built. You already sold it. What that tells you, you already made $350,000. And the house is not even done built, and it's guaranteed. Crazy, isn't it? And all it takes is buying a piece of land. You need to start educating yourself on GCs and getting a loyal, trustworthy GC, general contractor. You need a lender that's able to fund your project. And most likely you're going to need a construction loan. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it is very expensive for some of you to pay out $250,000 to build on a piece of land. So imagine you bought a piece of land for $50,000. You built the house for $250,000. You're all in at $300,000. You found the buyer way in advance, and there's many buyers, thousands of them. That's on contract for $650,000 once the house is done. That means when you close, you automatically made $350,000 profit. Please tell me, even if it was $200,000, even if it was $100,000, even if it was $150,000, where else can you make $100,000 to $350,000 on one transaction? Facebook, YouTube, can you guys hear me? I want to make sure my sound is good. You guys can hear me right on Facebook. Put a comment below just to make sure you guys can hear me on the Facebook and I think that's YouTube side. A lot of you need to understand. What you're hearing in this video is to really have you understand your purpose of why you have money in your bank account. For some of you, you live in states that have so much opportunities. So many opportunities when you think about it. Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, Alabama, Arizona. The problem is you don't know what you're doing. You don't even see what's happening. And you know how I know a lot of people let opportunities pass them by? Is when I went to Detroit 7 years ago. And imagine a state. Imagine Michigan, right? They filed bankruptcy, I think, in 08 or 09. And you had people renting where you could have bought a house for $2,000. A whole 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom house for $2,000. Because the whole city was in shambles, Detroit, Michigan. People was renting when they could have bought a whole house fully done for $3,000, $2,000. And here it goes again, a person giving you straight game, straight knowledge on what's happening in today's market. And some of you is going to let this video pass you by, and some of you are going to say, hold on. This man might be onto something. Because if you could tell me what other way in today's society right now, how can you make $100,000 to $350,000 in 6 months or in one transaction? Please tell me. The only thing that can do that right now is real estate. There's no other way where you could close out legally and make $350,000, $250,000, $150,000 profit without investing into real estate and developing from the ground up if you understand the importance of buying land and developing on that land. See, the thing is, I realized too, and I've learned this with a lot of my community members, no matter if you're white, black, I don't care where you're from when I say my community. For some of us, we don't like challenges. We want things to be very straightforward and simple, straight. No type of thinking needs to be involved. And I want to say this to you, and I want to say this in the most respectful manner, but it's just the truth. Some of the brokest people don't like to think. They don't like to try. They don't like anything that's competitive. Some of the richest people like competition. They enjoy risk. And they learn to listen to people that's giving them great information so they can build their wealth in life. Whatever side you're on, that's up to you. But I can only tell you how I see things. A lot of you are financially struggling, not because you don't know any better. You choose to not do any better. So when you get money, a lot of you go buy cars, expensive clothes, expensive watches. But if somebody tell you to put your money, put that same energy that you're buying material things into real estate, you start to pull back. All of a sudden, your vision is blurred. All of a sudden, it's not making sense anymore. People, pay attention to wherever you stay at. Wherever you stay at, you're seeing development happening. You want to know why they're developing? Because they want either cash flow or they want to work smart, not hard. This is why developers are developing. You know why a lot of people are starting to go get their GC license, general contractor license? Because they want to work smarter. I'm actually thinking about getting my GC license next year because at this point, people, this license is one of the most powerful licenses in the world right now. I don't think you guys understand how powerful this is. And if you're a good test taker, you may not understand what I'm about to say. The license alone, if you know how the game works, you can make $100,000, $200,000 a year just off knowing what to do with your license, just leveraging it out. Because a lot of people can't pass the tests to become a general contractor. But the license itself holds so much power. It's something that any person, if you're a plumber, roofer, electrician, you need that GC license. Or you need someone who has the license. And sometimes just for leveraging somebody's license, you're going to pay top dollar. There's some people that never swung a hammer in their life. But they have a license that's making them $1 million a year. I hope this video really entices you to understand the value of what you need to be doing right now. Start researching different areas. Start investing into land. And some of you, I'm so proud of some of you who are in my every last Sunday Millionaire Mindset class. If you haven't joined people, it's $99. It's so crazy. Nice and cheap. Every month I'm teaching you something different. And you can watch it via webinar. And I'm, of course, your host. $99, get on mentorme.com. Every month I'm teaching you something different. Some of you haven't even subscribed, which is cool. And you wonder why you're working 2-3 jobs. You wonder why you're still struggling. You wonder why you're still begging your employer for a raise. You wonder why you can't even live a basic middle-class lifestyle. You're working check to check. You can't make ends meet because the mindset you have doesn't allow you to. Sometimes it's important to understand you need to be around people or listen to how other people who are past you are thinking. So if you haven't subscribed to, of course, the Millionaire Mindset class every last Sunday, get on mentorme.com. It's $99. Guys, you spend $100 on a lot of things in life. I made it very affordable for you. You might want to join today, just like others, and come learn how to recreate your mind. Actually, this month's topic, we're going to be talking about property management. What's in that line of work? Why do people do property management? Is there even a license? How much money can you make doing property management? And why is it so important and lucrative, especially for people who approach absentee owners who are out the country, because they can't be two places at once. People, at the end of the day, you got to understand, you got to change how your mind thinks. This is why I did this live on teaching you guys how to make $100,000, $250,000 on one transaction. Right now, my next play for this year, next year, I'm about to develop my first house. I'm about to build from the ground up. And this same thing I'm telling you on this video is exactly what I'm doing. Bought a piece of land. I have a lot of pieces of land. I'm going to pick one. got a GC. He's a very close friend of mine. We're going to have a plan on how the house will be built. You bought a piece of land, let's say $10,000. The house next door is worth maybe $400,000. I'm just giving you an example. What happened if you could build for $150,000? For a land you paid $10,000, that's $160,000. So you're telling me, hold on. Yes, basic math. Bought it for $10,000, built on it for $150,000, that's $160,000. It's worth $300,000. You just made $140,000 before you even finished developing the house. Somebody already bought it. Imagine doing 2 of those a year. That's $280,000. And what's crazy, it's not like it takes a lot of money. It takes structure. And that's what a lot of you have a problem with. And patience. A lot of you don't have patience. You want to get rich in a weekend. And some of you, it's not about patience. You're not brave enough to start or change your approach to life and try to understand when people are giving you advice on where you want to position yourself financially for the next 5 to 10 years. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, it's okay. Look at the area around you. Look how much development is happening. You think these people are building apartment buildings because it's fun and games? They're building apartment buildings every corner of probably where you stay at because they're going to charge you top dollar rent. And that's what they're here to do. You think people are building houses in certain areas for the fun of it? No, because some of them, they're making $1 million to $3 million a year building houses from the ground up. And it's not like you can't do it. You're scared. Or you're going to use the excuse, oh, I don't have money. That's the most famous excuse. Probably I don't have money like you. Oh, I just don't understand. There's YouTube. This is a great live. I gave a lot of valuable information. It's not a thing of money. It's putting the pieces together. And if you understand how to do this right, you can leverage everything where no money really comes out your pocket except buying a piece of land. If you know what I just told you and you listen to what I just told you in this video. This is Bobby from MentorMe.com. I got to get back on some calls. Appreciate all the love. People, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Sorry about that on YouTube and Facebook. My sound went out because I got a call that came in. I think my sound is back up now. But people, be smart about your life. Invest into real estate. And when I say invest into real estate, it's not just buying any piece of land. Buy a piece of land that makes sense. And also, eventually, you got to go to the next step of life if your parents didn't do it. You need to start, of course, building on that land. Because at the end of the day, people, you got to understand. You can work hard all your life or you can work smart. It's really up to you. But if you want to start learning how to make $100,000, $300,000 on one deal and changing your life in 1 year, you need to start developing from the ground up. This is Bobby from MentorMe.com.